What's up, guys? Eric Perry, Focus Fishing Guide Service, Table Rock Fishing Intel. Got another video fishing report for you for Table Rock. It is Wednesday, July 20th. Pretty much been on the water every day for the last 7 days, either Table Rock or Taneycomo, one of the two. Bite's been good. It's different areas of the lake are fishing a lot different, so we'll get into that here in a minute. Lake level, we are at 915.12. which is basically 2 feet down, almost down to summertime pool. No foreseeable rain in the future, and not looking good as far as the lake level coming up anytime soon. They do have beaver. I think it's about 4 or 5 feet high, so they're still dropping it slowly. Bull shoals, I think they're down to single digits high. Don't hold me to that because I haven't checked in a couple of days, but I know they were laying the coals to bull shoals, so getting it down. Water temperature, we're really kind of stabilized. It seems like every day I'm seeing anywhere from about 86 to about 88, unless I'm in a river arm. If I go up into the James or up in the Kings or up Long Creek where the water's got more color to it, I have seen some 90, 92 water, especially in the afternoon, but for the most part, the lake's around that 86 to 88 all over the lake. Doesn't seem to matter if you're in the White, in the James, or down by the dam or the mid-lake. It's all going to be around that same area. But like I said, the bite's different on different parts of the lake. It's a little bit interesting, but the best way to stay on top of it, best way to know what's going on, know before you go, join Table Rock Fishing Intel, be a pro member, and get those daily reports and all the videos and everything that we've been putting out. Put out the Stacey King video last week. We got another one of those to come. We've got a bunch of Brian Snowden stuff coming and some other stuff that we've shot recently. So a lot of new video content coming for you since we don't have a lot of derbies happening, and a lot of daily reports. I mean, we're putting out daily reports every day, it seems like, so a lot of stuff happening. But if you're coming down, you're going to fish the lower end of the lake. I'll be honest with you guys, the lower end has been extremely tough. I'm not sure if it's the amount of pressure from the guides, the amount of pressure from people in Branson, or just sheer boat traffic. But the lower end's definitely fishing tougher than anywhere else on the lake. You can catch them drop shotting, mostly with a shad shape, cut tail, chomper's drop shot worm or UV drop shot worm. Or a lot of guys are catching them on gravel. I am not catching that many fish on gravel. They really seem to be scattered to me. They're in that 22 to 32 foot range on the gravel, and it's just hard for me to find that many fish to keep my clients happy. Most of the fish I'm catching are coming out of treetops, bluff end treetops in the creeks, water anywhere from, or overall depth anywhere from 45 to 75 foot deep, and the trees are topping out there around that 35 or 40 foot range, and the fish are right in the tops of those. So that's been the best bite for me. We did catch a few on a peewee football jig up Long Creek a little ways last week, but I think we had one keeper, and it was a bunch of little Kentuckies were the rest of them. So to me, the dam area is fishing the toughest on the lake, and in all honesty, I'm trying to avoid going down there, trying to get people to meet me up lake. If you go to the mid-lake area, it's definitely fishing a lot better, much stronger drop shot bite in the mid-lake area. Amazingly strong drop shot bite, catching a lot of fish on gravel out there in that 22 to 35 foot range. We are catching some walleye mixed in with these fish, most of them on either a shad shape or a cut tail, and some on the chomper's drop shot worm, and some on the UV drop shot worm. So you can catch them on gravel. You can catch them in the trees as well, bluff end type stuff, in some of the bigger creeks around some of the treetops. So there's definitely those two bites going on. Caught them on a Kitech earlier this week, little swim bait, little 2.8 earlier this week. Caught a couple of nice smallmouth and some pretty good sized Kentuckies on gravel flats. It's really an early morning bite, basically from daybreak to, I think it pretty much quits around 7:30. But I've been catching a few fish doing that, scrubbing it on the bottom, and anywhere from about 12 foot out to about 20. So keep that in mind. You can catch fish on a peewee or a spider jig or a shaky head or even a Ned in those same locations. It's basically main lake gravel flats or flat points, keeping the boat about 20 to 25, and you're going to be making a long cast, but you're still not going to reach the bank. But there are some fish out there roaming the flats early, and I imagine they are late as well. And then we did have kind of a decent little topwater morning the other day, right there around Mill Creek. it's really hit and miss. You know, went out there and they came up schooling, and we were able to take advantage of them. They stayed up for about 30 minutes, so it's certainly worth having a topwater tied on and laying on your deck, whether it's a popper or a spook or a Sammy, something like that. Or I've been actually throwing a scuba spoon into those surfacing fish because I can throw it a lot further, and just throwing it out there, letting it sink a little bit and ripping it. So we've been catching some fish doing that in the mid-lake as well. Go up into the James. Now the James, I was up as far as Bridgeport this past week. Water's got good color up there. It's actually a little clearer than I expected it to be, but the fish were still fairly shallow. Caught most of our fish on a peewee football jig and a pro spider jig, and we caught several on a 10-inch worm and an 8-inch worm. Didn't really throw the 12-inch worm, but I'm sure we would have got bit on the 12-inch worm as well. Most of the fish are a little bit offshore. I mean, they're not right on the bank. So if you're going to go up there and beat the bank, I'm afraid you're going to be disappointed unless you find some bushes in the water, and you might catch a few fish out of those. Most of the fish seem to be out there in that 15 to 20 foot range out off of the bank, but they are relating to points. A lot of gravel points on the end of channel swings really seem to be key. So look at that as well if you're going to go up there, but definitely have a jig or a big worm or something like that tied on. And it's nothing fancy. We're just kind of working it slow along the bottom and catching them on a big worm and a jig right now up there. Go up into the White. I spent a lot of time up in the White this past week. That's kind of my favorite area, from about Baxter to Big M and even up the Kings a little bit. There's an excellent deep bite up the White. Most of the fish I'm catching are in trees, just because I've got these fish concentrated in a tree versus having to search for them on the gravel. And I'm catching them in the creek arms. And most of them are over 45 to 55 foot of water. Trees are topping out anywhere from 25 to 35. And usually if I find the right group of trees, there'll be 20 or 30 fish. There'll be decent schools of Kentuckys in them, and there'll be some better quality fish mixed in them as well. Catching those on a drop shot with either a shad shape, cut tail or UV worm, or the Chomper's drop shot worm. So that's working. Catching a few on a spoon there as well, and did have a decent little topwater blow up. Oh, I guess it was over the weekend. We had a good group of them blow up over top of some trees over 50 foot of water, and we caught them on a popper and a vixen there, and then caught them casting a scuba spoon and dropping a scuba spoon there as well. So a lot of fish coming deep up the White. We did catch some up the Kings on a peewee last week as well. Most of them on gravel points, and again, they're deeper. They're not right up on the bank like you'd expect them to be. They are out deeper. They're in that 15 to 18 to 20 foot range, so we're holding the boat around 25 to 30, and just really use the active target to find them. We're just kind of scanning, and you'll see a group of fish on the bottom, and you can usually catch them if you can see them. So catching them on a peewee, I'm sure you can probably catch them on a shaky head or a Ned or a big worm, whatever you want to throw. You can definitely catch them up the Kings, and then if you get up above Big M on the White, there's fish up there as well. So got some dragon bites going on. So the lake's fishing different all over. I mean, the drop shot bite's probably the most dominant bite all over the lake, but if you're not a drop shotter and you want to run either up the White or up the James or even up Long Creek, I mean, you can catch some fish dragging. Just remember, they're not going to be on the bank. I'm struggling to catch anything up that shallow. Have caught a few when I've been out messing around docks with either spoon jacking or flipping a jig, and that's pretty much all over the lake, but they're very few and far between. It's not a reliable pattern, I guess would be the best way to put it. Guys, we are halfway through July. It's hot as blazes. It's going to be hot as blazes, but the fish are biting. I mean, I had one of the best guide trips I've ever had in my life yesterday, and that was up the White. And then today we had a pretty decent guide trip. We had over 20 bass and had a huge walleye. Had an 8-pound walleye. So a lot of fish being caught. So there's a lot of stuff going on. A lot of different ways to catch fish right now, and the best way to stay on top of that, of course, is to join Table Rock Fishing Intel and get those daily reports and the weekly reports and all that other information. That'll help you to know what you're looking for and where the fish are before you even get to the lake. So check out Table Rock Fishing Intel. But if you're coming down and want to hire a guide, give me a call. It's Focus Fishing Guide Service. You can reach me at 417-860-4743. Either book online or shoot me an email. Either way, I get back to you as soon as I can. Guys, thanks for watching the video. Thanks for checking out Table Rock Fishing Intel. Can't wait to hear from you. We'll see you on the water.